the team from Hong Kong Polanco Law Foundation College. Today, we're going to share with you our project on the effects of greening on urban heat island effect in Hong Kong. I'm Natalie.
I'm Quinton.
I'm Abby.
Urban heat island effect refers to higher temperature in urban areas than the surrounding rural areas. It is a very common atmospheric phenomenon in cities all over the world. Urban heat island effect is particularly apparent at night and mid and high latitude cities. Heat island effect and another commonly known phenomenon, global warming, are similar in terms of the increasing of air temperature. However, one should note that heat island effect is mainly caused by the release of heat from various sources in urban areas, while global warming is related to the release of greenhouse gases through certain human activities. Now, let's move on to the current situation of our hometown, Hong Kong. According to research conducted by the Hong Kong Observatory in 2008, during the period 1989 to 2006, there was an average of 0.8 degrees Celsius between urban areas and rural air temperatures, with absolute maximum daily temperature difference of 11.5 degrees Celsius. Rapid urban development, especially large-scale infrastructural projects, are among the factors that account for such changes.
Urban heat island effect is caused by a few environmental features. First of all, the large surface areas of building absorb more radiation than the surrounding rural areas. Construction materials in the urban areas, like bricks and concrete, have a higher capacity to retain heat than the soil and vegetation in countryside. The paved road surface also absorbs a lot of heat from the sun. In terms of heat source, the combustion of fossil fuels for transport, heat from vehicles and machines are source of heat. According to the data from the Transport Department of Hong Kong, there are about 770,000 licensed cars in Hong Kong, 2018. The total number of vehicles is ever increasing, creating more heat in the urban environment. In terms of energy consumption, over 60% of the energy in Hong Kong is used for cooling purpose in summer. Huge amounts of heat from air conditioner are released, increasing the urban air temperature too. Last but not least, in terms of cooling mechanism, the loss of this heat from the urban areas is restricted by the close proximity of buildings. Hong Kong has an average population density of 6,500 per square kilometer. The high building density lowers the velocity of sea breeze, meaning that there is less mixing with cold air. Due to extensive urbanization, there is a little vegetation to transpire and cool the air. Vegetation plays an important role in cooling down the air temperature by releasing moisture. Trees decrease the air temperature by preventing the sunlight from reaching the ground. In urban areas with less vegetation, such cooling is not effective enough, and the air temperature is therefore higher than the rural areas, where there is a dense vegetation cover. To investigate the severity of urban heat island effect in Hong Kong, we have carried out a research project over the past 7 months. We measured the air temperature regularly at a few sampling points.
For our research, we selected 2 districts in which to study the heat island effect. In each of the districts, 2 sampling points were chosen for the air temperature measurement. To eliminate the other factors affecting the air temperature, the 2 sampling points in each district are located quite close together, not more than 15 meters apart. District A is located in the city center of Hong Kong. It's one of the busiest commercial districts with a very high traffic flow. At the same time, there's a big urban park in the same district, with a total area of 13.5 hectares in size. There are lakes and dense vegetation in the park. To better understanding more the severity of the heat island effect, we also chosen District B, where our school is located. District B is a new town with about 30 years of development. It's characterized by better urban planning. For instance, a higher green ratio and more parks for recreational purpose. In this district, we again selected 2 sampling points, namely B1 and B2. Point B1 is a park with an area of 4.13 hectares. while B2 is a pond near a major housing estate with 6,700 units and a big shopping center of 14 hectares in size.
We measure the air temperature with this meter. The meter is being held 1 meter away from the ground and in the shade. And here are some photographs we took while measuring the temperature. Temperature records were taken regularly at 4 o'clock in the afternoon from November 2017 to June 2018. Now, let's take a look at the data we collected. It was found that in both District A and B, air temperature near the main road or built-up areas were found to be higher than those places with vegetation. In District A, there is a maximum difference of 4 degrees Celsius between the large urban park and the main road. A similar situation is observed in District B, where there's a maximum divergence of 3 degrees Celsius between the park and the built-up area. Look at this graph. The bold line indicates District A, while the dotted line indicates District B. The red line indicates urban area, while the green line represents the urban park. Obviously, urban areas are hotter than the countryside. From our data collected in District A and B, it is seen that green areas have a significant cooling effect on the air temperature of urban areas. It is found that the larger the green area, the greater the reduction in air temperature. The effect of green urban parks is particularly significant. For example, NASA points out that the difference in temperature can be as large as 12 degrees Celsius. A survey conducted by a university in Hong Kong also has similar results. Also, a green group found that the temperature in a big park in urban Hong Kong was 2 degrees lower than the surrounding main road, which is only 200 meters away.
There is a lot the government can do to alleviate the urban heat island effect. Through zoning more parks, large open spaces are provided in the urban area, allowing more efficient mixing of hot and cool air. The denser vegetation in parks also encourage more transpiration, which lowers the air temperature. In places where parks are not a feasible option, greenery on rooftops and wall greenery can be applied. In CEI2012, our schoolmates have found that rooftop greenery in our school has lowered the temperature by more than 1 degree Celsius. Good urban planning and adopting an environmentally friendly architectural design can also help alleviate the heat island effect. For example, increasing the space between buildings to foster better air ventilation. In such cases, cool wind and sea breeze can mix with the hot air. Other practices like using elevated landscape courtyards and multi-story mid-air balconies, conducting extensive wind tunnel tests, letting the building height step down in the direction of prevailing wind can also lower the temperature. As youngsters like us, we can help prevent heat island effect by reducing energy consumption. Using electric fans instead of air conditioners help. Secondly, as vehicles are another major source of heat in the urban area, taking public transport instead of private cars contributes too. Lastly, even when your parents are giving you a car ride, you can remind them to switch off the idling engine whenever possible. Not everyone is convinced of the attraction of cities. Of course, cities, on one hand, are centers of culture and human endeavor, but some call them cancers on the face of the earth. Wherever someone talks of the triumph of cities, someone else talks about their fragility and uncertain future. The urban heat island effect is solely an environmental problem created by the city development. All of us are responsible for it. Let's combat it together.
This is the end of our presentation. I'm Natalie.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Quinton.
I'm Abby. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. How many have you ever been to Hong Kong? No? Only me? So maybe it's very hard for some people to imagine how how many buildings and high buildings and population. Yeah, the density is very, very high in Hong Kong. Okay, anyone want to ask questions? Turkey?
Yeah.
Yes?
My question is about heating problem in cities. So as I understand from your presentation, we can solve this by using public transportation and planting trees, etc. But what did you yourself did something to solve this problem? What did you do to solve this?
Thank you for the question. Like what we just said, like what we have to do. Like for example, as youngsters, we may not have a lot of money or power like the government to do some very big projects. But as youngsters, we can we can walk to school, or maybe we can join the planting trees in urban areas, like some similar kinds of programs. Or we can what are we doing here is to send this message to all the youngsters in all over the world to teach them how to decrease the air temperature by taking public transport, or stop using the air temperature, use the electric fan instead.
Okay, thank you.
Last question. In the PowerPoint you mentioned that you measure the temperature twice a month at 4 p.m. Why did you measure at 4 p.m., not other time?
Because if you measure in the afternoon, it's very hot and it makes the temperature higher. But at 4 p.m. also we are leave the school, and we are also to measure the temperature at this time.
And like what we have said, heat island effect is particularly apparent at night or when the sun sets, because when the sun sets, if there's no heat island effect, normally the air temperature would decrease too, right? But however, if there's heat island effect, the heat cannot escape from the cities. So that at that time, that you can see the difference more clearly and more apparent.
Yeah, but that's what confused me, because I thought that after the sunset, but 4 p.m. is usually not sunset yet, right? Usually,
It depends.
in
Winter in Hong Kong it's about sunset. And
okay. So in the past 7 months, you measure at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm just not sure, because I think if you want to measure the heat island effect, maybe you need to consider the time according to the sunset time. Okay, any questions? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, my question is, how did you do the research? I mean, the heat in urban areas, the heat in parks, and it's changing when you do something. How did you do that?
thank you for the question. You mean how we conducted experiment, right?
Yes.
Okay. We were divided into 2 groups. In the map, I don't know what you can see. Like this one, you can see that it is not far away, and we have 2 meters together, and we measure the temperature at the same time at 2 spots. Okay. Thank you.
Not just Turkey, any student and teacher, you are welcome to ask or share your feedback. No? Okay, then thank you very much. Okay.